Welcome, Central Indiana sports fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report for my new podcast, Greg and His Friends Talk Sports. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt, and every day, about 20 to 30 minutes, my friends and I are talking about what Central Indiana sports fans are talking about. And coming up today, we have sectional semifinal scores, highlights, and sectional championship matchups from across Central Indiana. David Malukas is on pole at Phoenix. Miami is 31-0, and we look ahead to Saturday with my friend Grant Shouse and his IU Ohio State preview, and my friend Jake Dunn with his Purdue Wisconsin preview. Before we get to all of that, I want to let you know what's going on at the Central Indiana Sports, and what's going on is a really good Colts report on Friday. You're going to want to check that out. It was a fiery one. And we have a Fever report coming up on Sunday, a Pacers report on Monday, a Big Ten tournament preview on Monday evening with Jake and Grant, and Grant's IU partner, Mike Hutzel. Thanks so much for joining us. My friends and I will be back tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the day after that. It's sectional semifinal Friday night, so of course we start this podcast on Saturday, March 7th, 2026 with the high school boys basketball sectional semifinals, and as we are wont to do, we start in Class 2A because that's where most of our interest lies here in northern Madison, Tipton, Grant, and Blackford County. And we start in the Elwood sectional, where Michelle Garmon of the Tipton Tribune and Elwood call leader and I were tonight. And it was Sheridan with a thrilling 67-66 back and forth victory over rival Taylor in overtime. The Blackhawks overcame a 10-point deficit in the second half behind big second halves from Trey Page and Devin Hamilton, who combined for 39 points. And we're also on the recap with Michelle and myself. Keyshawn Galloway scored 23 and Javion Harris 22 for Taylor. They were the game's top two scorers. And Sheridan will play number 9 Lapel for the sectional championship. Lapel beat Elwood 79-23 and has now outscored its two sectional opponents, Elwood and Frankton, by a combined 86 points. It was a 15-0 run at the end of the first quarter that blew it open, and then Lapel outscored the Panthers 30-6 in the second. Owen Garber and Case O'Connor scored 15 points apiece for the Bulldogs. And again, full recap earlier today on the Central Indiana Sports Report. Also have a full recap with Grant Shouse and Blackford head coach Aaron Daniels from the Eastbrook sectional, where Blackford advanced with a 42-35 win over CIC rival Eastbrook. Mason Kitterman had a career night with 22 points, and Blackford star Mari Leggett had 10 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. And Blackford's in the sectional championship game for the first time since 2021, and there they will meet a team that's used to being there, and that's Wapahani, a 68-34 winner over Burris. The Raiders have been in every sectional championship game since 2018. And at Manchester, it was second-ranked Oak Hill 72-34 over Lewis Cass. The Golden Eagles now 23-1 on the season. They were led by freshman Will Tonigal with 28 points and 5 assists. The Golden Eagles will face Rochester in the sectional championship on Saturday. The Zebras a 43-41 winner over Wabash for their 10th win of the year. This should be another pretty easy one for Oak Hill. And we move to the South in Class 2A, and at the Ritter sectional, it was University and Ritter advancing to the sectional championship. University, the defending sectional champion, now 17-8 after a 66-55 win over Covenant Christian. Faisal Muhammad scored 16, and Josh McGee, Blake Gray, and Noah Cortez 15 points apiece for the incredibly balanced Blazers. Ritter beat Park Tudor 66-51. At Eastern Hancock, Cecina beat Kip Legacy 60-45, and Triton Central beat Heritage Christian 63-43. So it'll be the number 6 Triton Central Tigers 21-3 against the number 10 Cecina Crusaders for the sectional championship Saturday night at Eastern Hancock. And at Hagerstown, it was number 5 Centerville easily over Hagerstown 85-57. The Bulldogs now 22-2. And Shenandoah ran past Northeastern 58-42. The Raiders 18-5. Centerville is the defending champion and the heavy favorite in that one. 4 local sectionals of interest in Class 3A. And we start at Bellmont, where defending champion Marion defeated the Heritage Patriots 73-57 behind 29 points from Tim Jones and 17 from Jace Freshwater. Marion will play New Haven for its 72nd sectional championship on Saturday night. New Haven beat Bellmont 63-27 and is now 18-7. The Giants 6-16. Still probably the favorites. At Logansport, Northwestern defeated the host Barry 64-52. The Tigers now 17-5. They got 30 points from Colin Cook. That according to Brian Gaskins of the Kokomo Tribune. Northwestern's in its first sectional championship game since 2018, and they will play 9th-ranked West Lafayette. The 21-4 Red Devils beat Peru 68-58. And at Frankfort, it was Brebeuf 76-48 over Lebanon. Chase Ford 18 points for the Balanced Braves. And Garin Catholic 56-34 over Danville. Junior Jake Grissom 24 points and Junior Carter Morantz 14 points and 8 rebounds for the 21-5 Golden Eagles. On January 23rd, 5th-ranked Garin beat 10th-ranked Brebeuf 48-39 to win the Circle City Conference. At Newcastle, 14th-ranked Yorktown defeated Connorsville 63-47. Mason Trammell 19 points and 5 rebounds for the 16-8 Tigers. That according to Cade Hampton of the Muncie Star Press. And Delta defeated Hamilton Heights 70-61 and will play rival Yorktown for its 4th straight sectional championship on Saturday. Walker Johnson 16 points and 8 rebounds for the Eagles. And Delta beat Yorktown 51-46 on December 12th for their first win of the season. In Class 4A, we start with 3 sectionals in the South, and at Greenfield Central is number 4 Mount Vernon, the defending sectional champions, 71-38 over Muncie Central. Future Purdue Boilermaker Luke Ertl, 27 points for the 23-3 Marauders. And next year should be a good one for the Bearcats. And in the second game, it was an upset. Greenfield Central 71-52 over Anderson. The Cougars now 12-11 on the year. Anderson still looking for its first sectional championship since 2009. This name may sound familiar. Clay Mullins 23 points for the Cougars. Sophomore Donnie Bowling had a game-high 33 points for the Indians. That according to Steve Heath of the Greenfield Daily Reporter. Mount Vernon beat rival Greenfield Central 62-51 in the regular season matchup in Greenfield on January 9th. And at Tech, it was number 11 Lawrence North 83-59 over North Central, and Lawrence Central 58-50 over Warren Central. So rivals Lawrence North and Lawrence Central will meet for the sectional championship on Saturday at Tech. LN beat LC 80-70 on December 6th. And an incredible night at Plainfield. An incredible comeback for number 3 Pike. They were down 10-0 early and 11 points at the half, and came back to beat number 5 Plainfield 56-53 to improve to 22-3 on the year. The Quaker season ends at 22-3. Landon Lampley, Ian McComb, and Jabari Miller combined for 39 points for the Red Devils. Plainfield's Noah Smith led all scorers with 23. And in the second game was Brownsburg 77-73 over Ben Davis. Brandon Sharp 22 points and 5 rebounds to lead the Bulldogs. That according to Jake Pfeiffer of Indy Sports Zone. So for the sectional championship at Plainfield on Saturday, it will be Pike and Brownsburg. Pike beat the Bulldogs 69-55 on January 2nd. And now we move to the northern half of the draw in Class 4A. And at Noblesville is number 10 Carmel, 44-36 over Noblesville. Carmel had 6 players score at least 6 points and had no one in double figures. Noblesville, Baron Walker, headed to Butler, had a game-high 19 points for the Millers. That's more than half of their points. That according to Richard Torres. And top-ranked Fishers came from behind to beat number 12 Hamilton Southeastern 75-65. The Tigers were down 7 points at halftime, then outscored the Royals by 14 points in the third quarter. Jason Gardner Jr. had 24 and Cooper Zachary 17 to lead the comeback. Luke Weimer 17 points for Hamilton Southeastern. So Fishers and Carmel for the sectional championship on Saturday as expected. And the Tigers beat the Greyhounds 53-50 on January 31st. Should be a great one. The sectional at Lafayette Jeff got underway on Friday night. And defending champion Harrison beat McCutcheon for the third time this season, 58-38. The Raiders now 17-8 on the year, and it'll be a rematch with Kokomo for the sectional championship on Saturday night. The Wildcats will go for their record 78th sectional championship after beating Lafayette Jeff 46-33 on Friday night. The Wildcats shot 69% from the field in the second half and outscored the Broncos 27-18. It's Kokomo's second win over the Broncos this season, once for the conference championship and now to reach the sectional championship. Harrison beat Jeff 66-61 in Lafayette on January 16th. And in Class A in the North at Wes-Del, it was North Miami 53-43 over Tri-Central. North Miami 15-9. The Trojan season ends at 9-16. And 6th-ranked Southwood will be going for its 7th sectional championship in the last 9 years after beating defending champion Daleville 66-37 on Friday night. Southwood now 21-3 on the year, and they won 80-67 at North Miami in early February and are heavy favorites in this one. At Clinton Central, Rossville avenged one of its 5 regular season losses with a 57-37 win over Carroll. The 10th-ranked Hornets now 19-5 heading into Saturday's sectional championship game against Bethesda Christian, a 56-51 winner over Frontier. The Patriots are the 2-time defending sectional champions. At Cambridge City, Monroe Central 69-60 over Randolph Southern in the big showdown on Friday night. Deshaun Beatty 27, Luke Morgan 23 to lead the Bears, who should roll to back-to-back championships on Saturday night against Union City, who beat Union 60-49. The Bears beat Union City 72-38 to end the regular season. And in the Indiana Def sectional, now being played at Anderson Prep, it was the Jets 64-58 over Purdue Broad Ripple, and Liberty Christian 70-51 over Tinley. So it'll be an all-Anderson sectional championship Saturday night at the Hangar. 11-13 Anderson Prep against 16-7 Liberty Christian. Your Indiana Pacers dropped their 8th straight, 128-117 in LA to Luka Doncic and the Lakers on Friday night, late Friday night. Doncic scored 44 in the Lakers' 4th straight win. And LeBron James passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most field goals in NBA history. Who cares, right? The best thing I saw in the game was Jarace Walker playing the kind of role that he'll kind of need to play next year. 10 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. Pascal Siakam, just an incredible season through all of it. I don't think he gets enough credit for it. 26 points in 29 minutes. More on the Pacers on Monday on the Pacers Report with Mike Rich, and on this show on Monday afternoon. And also you can expect a Fever Report this Sunday, probably in the evening sometime. And Jayson Tatum returned for 15 points in his debut after missing 10 months with a torn Achilles in a 120-110 Boston Celtics win over the Dallas Mavericks. Good news for the Celtics, who now look like they are going to be serious title contenders, and for the Pacers and Tyrese Haliburton, who had roughly the same injury. Just a couple of months later, and we'll get much more time for recovery. In college basketball, Bradley eliminated the last Indiana team for the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament, and that was Valpo 98-84 in double overtime on Friday night. UIC Northern Iowa and Drake also advanced. Drake pounded top seed Bellmont 100-79. And Ball State beat Central Michigan at Worthen. The Cardinals made a valiant run at the end of the season with 4 straight wins and just missed the MAC tournament. And Miami is 31-0 after beating rival Ohio 110-108 in overtime to complete their regular season 31-0. Carmel's Pete Suter hit a couple of free throws with 10 seconds left in overtime, and that was the difference. Ian Elmer, 32 points and 12 rebounds to lead the 19th ranked Redhawks. Should be ranked higher than that. And undefeated is undefeated. Women's college basketball, Hannah Hidalgo and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish ran North Carolina State out of the gym in an 81-63 victory in the ACC tournament in Atlanta. The Irish will face top seed Duke at noon. Hidalgo 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. The second semifinal is North Carolina and Louisville. The Big Ten semifinals on Saturday in beautiful downtown Indianapolis. It starts with top seed UCLA against 5 seed Ohio State at 2. Then Iowa and Michigan, the 2 and 3 seeds. All 4 teams ranked in the top 11 in the country. Penske teammates David Malukas and Josef Newgarden will share the front row at Saturday's 3 p.m. IndyCar race in Phoenix. And Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan teammates Graham Rahal and Mick Schumacher share the second row. Elijah Poe, Michelle Garmon, and I discussed all 4 of those guys in our race preview on the IndyCar Report on Thursday. Please go check that out. It's Malukas' first ever pole, and spoiler alert, my pick to win the race was David Malukas. We will have a race reaction after the race with Elijah Poe and probably some others. And Elijah will be on this show on Sunday to react to the first oval race of the year. The race is part of an IndyCar NASCAR doubleheader weekend, with the best race of the weekend going first for some reason. Tyler Reddick is the first NASCAR driver to ever win the first 3 races of the season. He'll try to make it 4 in a row on Sunday at 3:30 in Phoenix. Some quick news and notes. We had a Colts report on Friday with Will Rutherford and Sam Frick, and it was a good one. Some NFL news. Max Crosby's been traded from the Raiders to the Ravens for a couple of first-round draft picks. Could be a difference-making move. I covered Lamar Jackson in college at Louisville, and man, I hate the Ravens, but I really hope Lamar Jackson gets it done. Maybe with a different team. I mean, he deserves it. Great guy, great player. Also, Rashawn Gary has said goodbye to Green Bay and says he'll play elsewhere in 26. And in the World Baseball Classic, Aaron Judge hit a 2-run homer, and the U.S. drew 17 walks in a 15-5 win over Brazil. Shohei Ohtani hit a grand slam in a 10-run second inning in Japan's 13-0 win over Taiwan. Also, the Dominican beat Nicaragua 12-3. Mexico beat Great Britain 8-2. Puerto Rico beat Cuba 5-0, and Cuba beat Panama 3-1. Great day Friday for the Caribbean. And coming up on Saturday, March 7th, 2026, a busy day. Of course, sectional championships all over Indiana. And on Sunday's show, we'll have scores and highlights from all of the games in central Indiana. But wait, there's more. Purdue looks to clinch the 5th seed in the Big Ten tournament with a win over Wisconsin at 4. And here's my friend Jake Dunn with a preview. All right, Jake, it's Purdue and Wisconsin for 5th place in the Big Ten on Saturday, and that is not at all how I expected this season to go.
Yeah, me neither. But it's a Wisconsin team that has shown in the past they can come in here and win at Mackey. So, although I may have thought it would have been a little bit of an easier game at the start of the season, one that I still think Purdue can win.
And should win, like they did on Wednesday night against Northwestern. But even then, maybe Ohio State's the exception, but haven't gotten your thoughts on the Northwestern game yet. Maybe the most pitiful game of the season.
Yeah, it was a bad first half. I'm probably in the minority here. I never really lost faith that Purdue was going to win that game, which I was even kind of surprised that I was feeling that way at halftime. I don't know. Something was just telling me that Purdue's going to come back and win. So obviously glad that they did. But have another test here before the Big Ten tournament, and in this Wisconsin team that's led by Boyd. So he's guard, probably the leader of the team. Either him or John Blackwell. Got to find another guys. He's kind of went off against some of these better opponents in the Big Ten. He scored 27 against Iowa, 29 against Michigan State, and 25 against Illinois. So Purdue's definitely going to have to make him have an inefficient afternoon if they want a chance to win here.
Jake, you and I'd probably be having a lot different conversation if not for CJ Cox.
Yeah, career high points, bailed him out. Hopefully he's peaking at the right time. Kind of reminded me a little bit of. I know most of his shots were a little more wide open, but Carson Edwards. I mean, just kind of reminded me a little bit of him with it being March and everything, and just having a really good shooting performance from the field. So, yeah, hopefully he can kind of turn into Carson Edwards here in the tournament. But it starts here with Wisconsin. We can't be thinking ahead to that. Got to beat Wisconsin first,
and they cannot. I repeat, they cannot have 5 losses at home this year.
Yeah, that just can't happen. So we've talked about Nick Boyd kind of being a guy to focus on. John Blackwell, he's the guy that really this team's going to focus on. He's just a really good scorer too, especially for a second option. I guess a good break for Purdue. Dylan Winter is probably going to miss this game. He's a forward. He's a junior. He's a pretty good rim protector. He's also the leading rebounder for Wisconsin, and he's stepped out and hit some threes as well. So he's out. There's a couple people kind of behind him that'll look to have a bigger role, but I think that's a big break here for Purdue. But hopefully, the team will still be locked in and ready to go. It should be with Winter out. Purdue should really be able to exploit Wisconsin's already pretty thin front court, and with Winter out, makes it even thinner. So that's going to be key to the game there. Waiting for the front court, containing that duo of Nick Boyd and John Blackwell, and then just being tight on defense.
Win or lose, Jake and I will be here to talk about it. And Jake and I, hopefully, if we can get everybody together, we'll be previewing the Big Ten tournament next week with our IU guys, Mike Hutzel and Grant Shouse. Thank you so much for your time, as always, Jake, and Boiler Up.
Yeah, thank you. Boiler Up.
My next guest told me he will never in his life say those words. At 5:30, IU closes the regular season at Ohio State. The 18-12 Hoosiers could really use a win to lock down an NCAA berth. Here's my friend Grant Shouse with a preview of that one, with an assist from Michelle Garmon. Grant, a lot on the line when IU goes to Columbus on Saturday. Definitely NCAA tournament hopes are on the line. And I think if they win this one, it is a big win in their NCAA resume.
Yeah, they got to have it. They haven't played a must-win game like this in a long, long time. And the way to look at it now, going into Ohio State, is that you're playing tournament basketball the rest of the season. No matter what you get, Saturday is basically a tournament game that kind of determine where you may fall in the March Madness bracket. And then hopefully you can win a game or two in Chicago to really secure your hopes. Ohio State's been playing well. Another team that's playing for Big Ten tournament seeding and for a potential NCAA tournament berth. Think Hoosiers have a chance there in Columbus? I think they got a chance, but the task is going to be tall. Bruce Thornton is one of the all-time greats in the history of Ohio State basketball. They're a program that deserves to be in the NCAA tournament. And if they win and get in over Indiana as a fan, I think I can live with that just due to the fact that they're a program that deserves it. I really like Jake Diebler. But of course, this is an Indiana podcast. So I think Indiana deserves to be in if they win the game Saturday, even if they were to drop their first game of the Big Ten tournament. So there's a lot to look at here. There's a lot of things that go into it. But right now, if you're Darren DeVries and company, you're just focused on Ohio State. You're just focused on Saturday. And if they're focused and they're prepared, like the way they were on, Wednesday night when they beat Minnesota by 30 at home, then I like their chances against Ohio State. But if they lose, we're going to be looking back at that Northwestern game and kicking ourselves, wondering how they just could not pull that out.
Grant, I will say this. I think the key today is Sam Alexis. The games down the stretch where he has really been involved early and made a presence inside. IU's been very successful. I think he is going to be key to getting him involved early again against Ohio State today.
No doubt about it. And if he has the type of game he had against Minnesota, then that's really going to be key to their success. Hopefully they're hitting shots. Hopefully the right Tucker DeVries shows up. Hopefully the right Lamar Wilkerson shows up as well. But Sam Alexis really could be the X factor on Saturday. I agree.
And we will hear from Grant on tomorrow's podcast with a recap, hopefully joined by Mike Hutzel, his IU report partner. Grant, thanks as always, and
go IU. Never done.
Go IU. Thanks, guys.
Also, Saturday in men's college basketball, 13-17 Notre Dame is Boston College. Golden Eagles 10-20. And in the Big East, 15-15 Butler at 16-14 DePaul. Also Saturday night, UFC 326, Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira headline the Vegas event. On tomorrow's show, it'll be first thing in the morning again. We'll have an IU Ohio State reaction with Grant and Mike, a Purdue Wisconsin reaction with Jake Dunn, and a Phoenix reaction with Elijah Poe, and of course, sectional championship results and highlights from all over Central Indiana. And once again, we will have recaps from the sectionals at Elwood and Eastbrook, and we think we might have one for Manchester as well. Early next week, a Big Ten preview with Grant, Jake, and Mike. And later next week, a look ahead to the NAIA men's and women's national tournaments. 14 teams from Indiana, 7 men and 7 women. And of course, mine and producer Susie's alma mater, the Taylor Trojans, headed to both tournaments. Proud of them. Thanks for joining us, my friends, and I'll be back tomorrow. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of IGT Media. And I sure do love you, Susie.